Chosen one. Maybe you are tired of hearing that love is coming. You have heard promises before. You have waited. You have watched other people step into relationships while you kept wondering why your own story seemed to require another season of preparation. So I am not asking you to blindly believe that God is about to place a younger person at your door. I want to give you something more useful. Because if a connection enters your life in a form you did not expect, you need to know how to recognize what is actually in front of you. And one detail may challenge you immediately. They may be younger. Your mind may say no before your discernment has even had time to speak. You may think, this cannot be what I prayed for. This is not the picture I had. This is not how I thought God would arrange it. But what if the answer can fit the prayer without fitting the picture? Hear that carefully. It does not mean every age gap connection is divine. Strong chemistry is not confirmation. Synchronicity alone is not confirmation. Feeling seen after years of loneliness is not confirmation. There are deeper witnesses you need to examine, because a meaningful connection must survive more than the first rush of emotion. And the greatest surprise is this: the age difference may not be the real test at all. The real test is whether two people with different timelines can meet as equals. Can you receive love without becoming the rescuer? Can they respect your experience without turning you into an authority figure? Can attraction become consistency? Can connection develop direction? There is another layer most people never examine. It is the condition of the mind doing the discerning. When you have lived through enough disappointment, fear can sound like wisdom. Loneliness can sound like intuition. Mental noise can make both a red flag and a green flag difficult to see clearly, especially when you want certainty before life has given you enough evidence. That is why this message is not about chasing someone younger. It is not about turning another person into a reward for surviving hard seasons. It is about recognizing healthy reciprocity when it arrives outside the shape you expected. Before this message is over, you will have 3 witnesses to look for. You will understand why an age difference can expose old relationship patterns so quickly. You will also see why the purpose of a connection may be much larger than romance if the relationship proves itself through character instead of fantasy. For now, hold one question. Why would a connection carrying purpose arrive in a form capable of triggering your resistance first? Do not answer too quickly. The answer begins with a mistake almost everyone makes. We tend to confuse what feels familiar with what is actually safe. Chosen one, if you are willing to choose discernment over fear, make that your quiet declaration now. I choose discernment over fear. Let that sentence become the standard for what follows. Because the person you expected and the person who can truly meet you may not look the same. The prayer can be right while the picture is wrong. And once you understand why the mind clings so tightly to the picture, the younger partner question begins to open into something much deeper. Chosen one, the mistake has a name. It is the divine packaging problem. You ask God for one thing, then quietly attach a picture to the request. You ask for maturity. You imagine someone older. You ask for partnership. You imagine a life story that looks almost like your own. None of those pictures are automatically wrong, but they are still pictures. They are not proof. The danger begins when your mind starts treating the picture as part of the promise. Then anything outside it feels suspicious before you have examined its fruit. You can reject something healthy simply because it does not resemble what you rehearsed. This is where familiarity becomes powerful. Familiarity can feel like safety even when it is only repetition. Your nervous system recognizes old patterns quickly, and because it knows the pattern, it can mistake recognition for peace. Maybe you have loved people who needed saving. Maybe you became the strong one every time. Maybe you learned to earn affection through patience, fixing, explaining, or waiting. Then someone arrives who does not ask you to rescue them. They are younger, yet they do not need parenting. They listen, they show up, they carry their own responsibilities. Suddenly, The unfamiliar thing is not their age. It is the absence of the old struggle. That can feel unsettling, but sometimes what is missing is the chaos you once confused with connection. This is the first breakthrough. Familiar does not always mean safe. Unfamiliar does not automatically mean dangerous. So do not ask only whether this person fits your preferred picture. Ask what their presence produces over time. Do you feel more honest around them? Do they respect your no? Can they hear truth without punishing you? Do they keep their word when nobody is watching? These questions slow fantasy down. That is useful. Divine purpose does not need you to abandon observation. If anything, a meaningful relationship should become more credible under patient attention. Character should become clearer. Consistency should become easier to see. Direction should emerge without constant pressure. This is why the younger partner detail can be so revealing. It touches beliefs you may never have questioned. You may believe maturity has a certain face. You may believe your own age makes you less desirable. Or you may believe being older means you must always know more. But a healthy connection can expose those beliefs without humiliating you. It can show you where wisdom became rigidity. It can show you where caution became self-rejection. It can show you where standards became a wall built to prevent surprise. That does not mean lowering your standards. It means separating standards from assumptions. The standard is character. The assumption is age. The standard is responsibility. The assumption is appearance. The standard is mutual respect. The assumption is that two people need matching timelines to understand one another. When you separate these things, discernment becomes quieter and more precise. And this is where the question grows harder. If you release the assumption about age, what protects you from becoming the parent instead of the partner? That question matters because an age difference can be healthy while a power difference can quietly destroy everything. The next layer is not about birthdays. It is about whether two adults can truly stand beside each other as equals. Chosen one. This is where many people become confused. They see an age difference and assume a power difference must follow. But age and power are not the same thing. Years can bring wisdom. Youth can bring openness. Neither side earns relational authority by age alone. The real question is simpler. Can both people stand fully as adults? Can each person disagree without punishment? Can each person carry responsibility without being chased? Can both people remain themselves while the relationship grows? This is the equal covenant principle. A healthy partnership does not require one person to become the parent. It does not need one person to become the savior. It does not turn experience into superiority. And it does not turn admiration into dependence. Look carefully at responsibility. Does the younger person handle their own life? Can they manage consequences without expecting you to rescue them? Do they take ownership when they are wrong? These details reveal more than intense words ever will. Now look at your role. Do you feel compelled to teach them everything? Do you feel valuable mainly when they need you? You may be slipping back into the role of the one who carries everyone. But rescue is not the same as love. Control is not the same as protection. And being needed is not the same as being chosen. A relationship with purpose should make room for two capable adults, not one exhausted guide and one permanent student. The younger person must also be free to disagree with you. Respect is not obedience. Admiration is not surrender. If they cannot say no, the relationship is not equal. If you cannot hear no without feeling rejected, the relationship is not equal. Equality is proven when desire and difference meet. There are warnings you should never spiritualize. Secrecy is one, manipulation is another. So is using God as a reason to bypass consent, honesty, or boundaries. No spiritual language makes those patterns holy. Do not use your experience to silence their perspective. Do not assume you know what is best, because you have lived longer. Wisdom can guide without controlling. Love can protect without possessing. Now imagine the opposite of the old pattern. You are not decoding mixed signals at midnight. You are not rescuing them from consequences they created. Both people can breathe. You speak honestly. They answer honestly. You disagree, and nobody disappears. You set a boundary, and it is respected. There is attraction, but there is also peace. This is what a healthy age gap can look like. Not one person standing above the other. Two people standing beside each other. Different years, different stories, equal adulthood. And if that equality is present, age begins to lose its power as the central question. But equality is only the first witness. Someone can appear mature for a season. Someone can say the right things while the connection is new. So what reveals whether this is real? Consistency, not intensity, not promises, not the feeling of destiny during the first emotional rush. That is the next threshold. Once equality is established, you must see what remains when excitement settles. Does their character stay steady? Does their respect survive frustration? Does the direction of the relationship become clearer without force? Those answers take time. And this is where the deeper purpose begins to come into view. The younger partner may not be here to make you feel younger. They may be here to meet you differently. But before you call that difference divine, you need to know what chemistry can imitate and what consistency can finally prove. Chosen one. Once equality becomes visible, another question appears. Why can a younger connection feel so different from everything that came before? The answer is not that youth carries some special spiritual power. The difference may be in what the relationship awakens inside you. A younger partner may challenge habits that became invisible over time. You may have learned to protect yourself through control. You may have learned to call emotional distance wisdom. You may have stopped expecting surprise because disappointment trained you to prefer what feels predictable. Then someone appears who does not match the old map. They think differently. They move differently. They may bring curiosity into places where you became rigid. You may bring patience into places where they move too quickly. Neither person is complete because of the other, but the contrast can reveal parts of both people that were sleeping. Imagine someone who has spent years becoming fiercely independent. They learned to carry every burden alone. They stopped asking for help. They became dependable, respected, and exhausted. Then, a younger person enters their life and does something unfamiliar. They do not ask to be rescued. They simply remain present. They remember what was said. They keep their word. They notice when the strong person becomes quiet. They offer support without turning support into debt. And suddenly the difficult part is not the age difference. The difficult part is receiving without earning first. That is why some connections feel disruptive before they feel peaceful. They expose the rules you created to survive. They reveal where caution became rigidity. They reveal where independence became isolation. And they show you that a person can be unfamiliar without being unsafe. But there is something else I want you to hold. Over the past several years, researchers have continued studying a problem that many spiritually sensitive people describe in very different language. They talk about fog, hesitation, mental noise, and the strange feeling of knowing something inside while being unable to organize it clearly. What they found did not come from a church. It did not come from another relationship theory. It came from research into how the human mind processes information when different systems are working together instead of pulling in separate directions. I will return to that discovery later, because it matters far more than it may seem right now. For the moment, hold one question. What if some of what you have called spiritual confusion is also a problem of reception? What if the signal is not always missing? What if the difficulty is that fear, memory, expectation, and mental fatigue are all speaking at the same time? That question matters here because attraction can become loud. Hope can become loud. loneliness can become loud. And when several voices inside you become loud together, even a sincere person can mistake intensity for truth. So the next test is not whether this younger person makes you feel alive. The next test is whether what you feel can survive. Observation. Chemistry may open the door. It cannot tell you what is standing on the other side. Chosen one. Chemistry can be beautiful. It can also be persuasive. A look can stay in your mind for days. A conversation can feel strangely familiar. A series of coincidences can make you wonder whether something larger is unfolding. Do not mock those moments, but do not make them carry more weight than they can hold. Strong emotion is not the same as confirmation. A dream is not character. A coincidence is not consistency. Feeling deeply seen after a lonely season is not proof that another person can build a healthy life beside you. This is where projection becomes dangerous. Loneliness can magnify attention. Novelty can feel like destiny. An old attachment wound can make uncertainty feel magnetic. The heart can become activated before the relationship has produced enough evidence to deserve a conclusion. So you need 3 witnesses. The first is character. Who are they when there is nothing to gain? How do they speak about people who cannot help them? What happens when they are disappointed? Do their private choices resemble the person they present to you? The second witness is consistency. Words matter, but repetition reveals more. Do they keep showing up? Does respect remain when the mood changes? Do they follow through without needing to be managed? A meaningful connection should become easier to understand over time, not more dependent on constant interpretation. The third witness is direction. Ask what the connection is producing in both lives. Are you becoming more honest, more responsible, more peaceful? Are important areas of life becoming clearer, or is everything being abandoned to keep the relationship alive? Character tells you who is standing in front of you. Consistency tells you whether that person remains. Direction tells you where the connection is taking both of you. When all 3 agree over time, you have something stronger than chemistry. And no, this does not mean a younger person is definitely sent by God. It means age alone cannot answer the question. Neither can attraction. Neither can a cluster of signs. Discernment becomes trustworthy when spiritual meaning and observable fruit are allowed to stand in the same room. Now, I want to return to the question I asked you to hold. Earlier, I mentioned research into how the mind processes information when its systems work together. I waited until this moment for a reason. A solution means very little until you understand the shape of the problem it is meant to address. You now understand that shape. You can have information and still feel confused. You can know your standards and still overthink every interaction. You can know red flags and still doubt yourself when emotion becomes intense. So why does knowing all of this still fail to produce clarity sometimes? Why can insight remain insight without becoming a clear decision? The missing piece may not be another sign. It may be the condition of the receiver. Before we go further, remember what has already become clear. Your task is not to force certainty about another person. Your task is to become steady enough to see what is actually there. Because fear can edit evidence, desire can edit evidence, old pain can edit evidence, and when the mind is crowded, the same relationship can look completely different from one hour to the next. The next layer is where the spiritual and practical finally meet, not to tell you who to choose, not to manufacture destiny, but to ask whether clarity can be supported when mental noise has ruled for too long. Chosen one, here is the plain truth. You do not need another romantic prophecy. You need a clearer way to see what is already in front of you. When fear, desire, memory, and fatigue compete for attention, discernment becomes harder. Look for character. Look for consistency. Look for direction. Check whether both people can stand as adults, Check whether your inner state is calm enough to observe instead of invent. You are not someone begging to be chosen. You are becoming someone who can choose clearly. Clarity is not certainty about another person. Clarity is the ability to see another person without fear rewriting what you see. Now I can close the research loop I opened earlier. The product materials point back to the split brain research associated with Dr. Roger Sperry and the Nobel Prize, awarded in 1981. They use that work to frame a simple idea. Different parts of the brain perform different functions, and coordinated processing matters for clear thinking. The materials describe a targeted auditory sequence built around what they call neural sync technology. They present the goal as supporting whole brain activation and coordination between the two hemispheres. That is how the creators describe the mechanism. A woman from California described living with mental fog and the feeling that life was happening to her. She had tried several practices and still felt disconnected. After using the sequence, she reported feeling clearer, calmer, and more present in her relationship. Her experience is personal, not a guarantee. A man from Texas described carrying work, family, and constant responsibility while his mind felt crowded. According to his account, regular use helped him feel sharper and more decisive. Again, that is one reported experience, not a promise for everyone. The team behind the product calls it the Genius Switch. It is a digital audio track created under the name of Dr. Daniel Barone, a neurologist in New York City. The stated routine is simple. Put on headphones, close your eyes, relax, listen for 8 minutes a day. The Genius Switch is presented as a targeted auditory sequence, not as a meditation requirement. You do not need to repeat a mantra. You do not need to write pages of affirmations. The product materials say, you simply listen. This is not for someone looking for a device that tells them whether a relationship is divine. It cannot choose a partner for you. It cannot turn attraction into destiny. It is for the chosen one who recognizes a different problem, persistent mental fog, scattered attention, and difficulty evaluating what is actually happening. The creators position the original value as high as $500. The regular listed price is $49. On the page described in the product materials, the current offer is $39. That purchase also includes lifetime digital access. 4 bonuses are listed. A guided visualization focused on money, love, health, and happiness. A grocery shopping guide. A classic manifestation book. And a printable infographic built around 5 daily habits. The offer also includes a money-back guarantee, according to the product materials. You can review the terms on the official page before deciding. The important point is not to let a sales offer become another source of pressure. The product materials also warn that similarly named tracks can appear elsewhere without the same claimed technology. If you decide to investigate it, use the direct page linked in the description and pinned comment and read the details for yourself. If your spirit resonates with what has been described, the resource is there. But remember what this tool is not. It does not replace God. It does not replace wisdom. It does not replace boundaries, observation, or time. A tool can support clarity. Discernment still belongs to you. And what happens next matters even more. Because the receiver problem is not solved by buying something. It is solved by becoming steady enough that uncertainty no longer controls your interpretation. Chosen one, the tool does not replace God. It does not replace obedience. It does not choose a partner for you. It does not turn attraction into destiny. What it can do, if it helps you personally, is support a quieter mental space in which you can observe more clearly. But the deeper work still belongs to you. This is where the receiver problem becomes personal. Maybe you have said, I do not trust myself. Maybe you have replayed one message for hours. Maybe one warm conversation fills you with hope. Then one delayed reply makes everything feel uncertain again. That instability can make you search for certainty in places certainty cannot live. You start reading every detail as a sign. Then fear enters, and the same detail becomes a warning. Your interpretation changes because your inner state changes. The goal is not to eliminate uncertainty. The goal is to become stable enough that uncertainty no longer controls you. That is a very different kind of clarity. It is not knowing another person's future. It is knowing how to remain present while their character reveals itself. You can ask simple questions. What do I actually know? What am I assuming? What has this person consistently shown me? What am I trying to predict because waiting feels uncomfortable? These questions bring you back to evidence. And this matters even more when the person is younger. The age difference can become a screen onto which both people project meaning. You may project fear about being judged. They may project admiration onto your experience. Neither projection creates equality. So, return to the equal covenant principle. Can both people carry responsibility? Can both people tell the truth? Can both people hear no? Can both people keep growing without one becoming the teacher and the other becoming the student forever? Now imagine the relationship after the first excitement has settled. You are not checking your phone every 3 minutes. You are not decoding silence. You are not trying to force a future into existence. There is room to breathe. You bring wisdom from what you have lived. They bring a perspective shaped by a different season. You do not use experience to dominate them. They do not use youth to avoid responsibility. The relationship becomes a meeting place, not a hierarchy. That may be where purpose begins. One person sees what the other has stopped noticing. One person brings patience. The other brings movement. One brings context. The other brings fresh questions. Together, both become more honest about who they are being asked to become. And for the chosen one who felt something stir, when mental clarity was mentioned earlier, the resource described before is still available through the description and pinned comment. You can read the details for yourself. There is no need to force the decision. Then release the product from your mind for a moment. Come back to the relationship question, because no tool can answer the next part for you. You still need to know whether this connection is producing peace with evidence or intensity without foundation. That distinction changes everything. A clear receiver does not guarantee a desired answer. It gives you a better chance to face the answer that is actually there. And sometimes the most loving answer is yes. Sometimes it is no. Sometimes it is not yet. Your strength is not in controlling which answer appears. Your strength is in becoming steady enough to receive truth without rewriting it. That is the kind of discernment that protects love from fantasy and protects wisdom from fear. Chosen one, now we can make discernment practical, not mystical, not rushed. If this connection carries healthy purpose, it should survive 5 tests. The first test is peace after proximity. Do not ask only whether you feel butterflies while they are near. Ask what happens after you leave. Are you clearer and grounded? Or does your entire day depend on their next message? The second test is consistency across time. 3 intense conversations can create a powerful story. Time reveals whether the story has substance. Do their words keep matching their actions when excitement becomes ordinary? The third test is equal adulthood. Can both of you say no? Can both of you disagree? Can each person maintain responsibilities, boundaries, and a life outside the relationship? Healthy love does not require one person to become smaller. The fourth test is purpose without possession. If this connection did not become romantic tomorrow, has knowing this person already called both of you toward honesty, responsibility, or growth? Purpose can exist without ownership. The fifth test is no spiritual excuses. No one gets to use God as a weapon. No one gets to say God told me, therefore you must ignore your boundary. Consent matters. Honesty matters. Integrity matters. These tests protect you from two opposite mistakes. One is rejecting something healthy because it looks unfamiliar. The other is accepting something unhealthy because it feels spiritually intense. Discernment lives between those extremes. Now, slow down. If it is safe, close your eyes. Let your shoulders soften. Take one unforced breath. You do not need to discover the future right now. Bring the person to mind, if there is someone specific. Remove the age for a moment. Remove appearance. Remove the fantasy of what could happen. Remove the story you fear will happen. Let only their character remain. Ask yourself, what evidence would still be here if I removed the story I want? Do not force an answer. Notice what remains: a kept promise, a respected boundary, a pattern of care, or perhaps inconsistency you have been explaining away. Place one hand over your chest. Notice your body without turning sensation into prophecy. Expansion is information. Tightness is information. Calm is information. Agitation is information. None of them alone are a divine verdict. The purpose is not to make your body choose for you. It is to notice what fear, hope, and evidence are each contributing. Then you can return to observation honestly. Open your eyes when you are ready. Keep the 5 tests with you: peace after proximity, consistency across time, equal adulthood, purpose without possession, no spiritual excuses. The question is no longer, is this younger person the one? The better question is, what kind of relationship is being built here? And what kind of person am I becoming while it is being built? That prepares you for the final revelation. The deepest purpose of an age gap connection is not to flatter you, rescue you, or make you feel young again. It is to confront what both people believe love is supposed to look like. Chosen one. Now the question can finally close. Why younger? Not because youth is spiritually superior. Not because you deserve someone younger as a reward. Not because God needs to prove that you are still desirable. The deeper possibility is that the age difference forces both people to confront assumptions they might never examine otherwise. You may have to receive without controlling. You may have to love without shame. You may have to discern without letting fear make every decision. The younger partner may have work to do as well. They may need to stand as an equal instead of hiding behind admiration. They may need to carry responsibility without asking you to carry them. That is where purpose becomes visible. Not in matching birthdays, not in proving a fantasy. In 2 forms of maturity meeting without one erasing the other. Maybe your experience brings patience. Maybe their perspective brings freshness. Maybe their openness helps you question rules you stopped examining. The divine purpose is not to make you younger. It is to make the relationship larger than the identities both of you arrived with. That is the answer beneath the age difference. If there is no younger person in your life right now, do not turn this message into a search assignment. Do not hunt for someone who fits the title. Become capable of healthy reciprocity before you know who will stand beside you. Release the picture. Keep the discernment. Do not confuse intensity with truth. Do not reject love because it looks unfamiliar. Chosen one, let this become your prayer. God, help me recognize what is healthy without forcing what is not. Help me release the image I built while keeping the wisdom I earned. Help me see people as they are. Teach me to receive love without becoming a rescuer. Teach me to honor another adult without controlling them. Teach me to walk away when integrity is absent. Teach me to remain open when character is present. I release the picture. I keep my discernment. I do not confuse intensity with truth. I do not use spiritual language to ignore evidence. I am ready to meet another adult as an equal. What is from God does not require me to abandon wisdom. What is healthy will not need fear to hold it together. What is real can survive time, boundaries, honesty, and observation. You are becoming the one who can receive without losing wisdom. You can observe, you can pray, you can wait, you can see. The prayer can be right while the picture is wrong. If the connection is real, purpose will not ask you to become less of yourself. It will invite both people to become more truthful, more responsible, and more capable of love.